stars. I think it deserves 3 stars. Probably not any higher because it's one of these poetry collections where there's like images written kind of like a milk and honey kind of vibe. Although, you know, some of those poems do hit. They have their time and a place. So that's kind of that kind of book. Like, it's not like terrible, but I wouldn't say it's the best poetry out there. It talks a lot about her personal life, so if you want to find out about Marina herself, it talks a lot about her, like Edie, a lot about her romantic relationships. So in that aspect, that's what I wanted to find out, so I did. But if you want anything deeper than that, I wouldn't say it's the book for you. So I gave it 3 stars, but I didn't like hate it or anything. So the next one I listened to is The Trading Game by Gary Stevenson. I watch Gary Stevenson on and off. He is an economist who gives financial advice, and he has a show coming out with Channel 4, which is one of the major TV channels in the UK, in Britain. I don't know if it's the whole of the UK, so let's just say it's in Britain. And he, you know, he's a very, it's very easy. The information that he gives you kind of lays it out for you, trying to be more accessible. And his YouTube channel is really good if you want to find advice regarding finances and current like political state, especially if you live in England. It's more towards British people, I would say. However, some of his advice does apply. And he wrote this book, The Trading Game, about the time where he was a trader in finance, and it's all about that, his like early life. Honestly, I have to say he's kind of unlikable, like, as a person. The way he was treating his girlfriend, I was like, oh my god, no wonder she broke up with you. I hope he has a partner and he's treating her much better now. Not that he was like psychologically abusing her or whatever, like, it's nothing like that, but like, he it's like interwoven, like you see flashbacks to current time and then past time, and then how the different like ploys of Stephen and like other characters happen. It's so well done. The new season came out, so season 3, and I watched all 3 episodes in like one day. So we will see how it goes. I'm not gonna like make my decision yet. I don't know when the rest are coming out, but it needs to be soon. I was rewatching season 1 and 2 to get up to speed, and I'm still during my rewatch, and I was discovering new details, and I was enjoying it just the same. It's such a fun show to watch, like, and all the red flags that you need to look out for in a man will be displayed. So it's actually studying if you think about it. I gave the audiobook like a 3 stars, not because like the contents of the book is okay. The character, like Lucy, is mad at her mom, but literally her mom did nothing wrong. Like, it's the same in the TV show. Like, Lucy is just over exaggerating the problem, to be honest, in my opinion. Like, Lucy has nothing wrong with her life, but she is acting like she does. That might come because that might be the case because she's a teenager, too young and old, but it's a little bit insufferable at times, you know. But the audio narrator of the Spotify Premium like audiobook version is so bad. I am so sorry, girl, but you are so bad at this. You need to do more practice. Honestly, I've never had a worse experience listening to an audiobook than this one. So if you want to read a book, pick up an actual copy rather than listening to it if you can, because that narrator in particular was really bad. That's why I gave it 3 stars, and the show is better. Very rare that this is the case, but it is. The next thing I listened to was The House of My Mother, Sherry Frankie, and there's like a whole theme. Like, the things I listened to, I voted like less stars. I gave it less stars. I don't know why. Because I think I don't want to spend my money on books that are like memoirs, and yeah, I don't, or like, for example, like Gary has a lot of content on YouTube. Although his book is a bestseller, I feel like I didn't need to buy it, so I just listened to it, you know. But for some of the things, I would rather buy it. I don't know. It's just the way I am. And I'm not a very big listener as well, so I'm not like super experienced in listening audiobooks. Just cause you really have to focus. Like, I can't listen to a book and do something else because I'll lose the plot. So The House of My Mother by Sherry Frankie, I did a video about the Frankie family, 8 passengers. You can look it up and find out more about like the background, but this was a good book. Obviously she's not like an established writer, so thinking of it in that way, I gave it 4 stars. There are things that could be improved. I don't remember the whole thing at this point, but it basically gives a little bit of the background of what the kids were going through when all the things with 8 passengers were happening. Their mother is basically an abuser and is in prison. And if you want to find out more, basically you can read her book, which had a really good background detail. Again, it's all very tragic, and I can't believe people are still making documentaries about it, but I guess you don't have these things don't happen all the time, or if it happens, you know, it's anyway. The next one that I listened to was The Strange Library, and I gotta admit, I didn't understand what was going on the whole time. I listened to this because I wanted to add another book to my 2025 list, and I saw this was like very short, so I started listening to it, and I was, you know, walking around doing my little walk and listening to it. I was like very confused the whole time. and it's, yeah, you really have to like search for that meaning, and the writing style is very different than any other book on this list, so I have not that much experience like deciphering that, and I'm not sure if I want to. Maybe that makes me less intellectual, but I just didn't really like it. I gave it 3 stars, but again, it's because of me, not the book itself. A lot of people enjoy it, so if you want to try them out, I feel like this is a short one that you can, because the other ones will be probably more dense. This was about like a kid that's like in a library, and there's like this evil librarian, and it was like a horror. It was classified as a horror. I don't know if I agree, but it was like he was trying to get out of it. I don't know. It was a strange little book. Alright, and the last audiobook on this list is Crying in Mart. I think I gave this 4 stars. This is by Michelle Zauner, who is the lead singer for Japanese Breakfast, I believe. And I did not know this at the time when I went into it. Like that it was a memoir, basically. I didn't know that it was a memoir, but I found out like halfway through, and then it kind of, yeah, I don't know, I was like, oh, okay. But it is a really good book, to be honest. Like, for a memoir, there is it's very sad. Like, it really got to me. I was crying. I really enjoyed it. She narrated it herself as well, which I can't imagine doing that and not breaking down at some of the parts of this book, because it's about grief, and she talks about the loss of her mother, which I think the writing was the best at those parts. Very emotive, really explains it so well, like the relationship between them and how she felt during that time. She explained that very well. Some people said like there wasn't really that much wrong between their relationship to have so much conflict in the earlier years in their lives, but again, like we weren't them, so I wouldn't be able to comment on that. But just that aspect of grief and examining that and how she felt and how the process worked, and all of the emotions like hit me so hard, and I was crying and sobbing. She did really well. After that, I feel like it kind of lost a little bit of direction, and then the book came to an end, so it was a little bit like abrupt, but it was okay for what it is. I gave it 4 stars. So these are all the things that I listened to, and one of the ones was a PDF. So the next one is Gone, and I finished this in the beginning of 2025. Apparently, I don't even remember. And I didn't share this, but I read 16 books and 4,768 pages. It says, so this was probably one of the longest books that I've read. This is I could even classify this as a children's young adults. It's a YA book, but this is like part of a bigger series. In the back you can see all the books, but this is by Michael Grant. Basically this is kind of like a Stephen King The Dome, but not really. I don't know how to explain it. Like, there was a series on Netflix that was cancelled that's exactly like this. Here is all of the adults disappear, and it's all the kids left behind, and then the kids have to like fend for themselves, and they find different groups, like reordering society. Where do you belong? They're, asking themselves all these questions, basically. It was really good. I really enjoyed it. I don't think I'm gonna go too much plot. Like, you really have to pay attention or you will lose the plot. This is about Alex Stern, who has an ability that you come to find out. I can just tell you, she can see like ghosts, and she is working for the secret society in Yale, and that's why she gets to be there. She comes from a bad background. She's got a lot of trauma, and she's working through it, kind of. And she's investigating a murder, and somebody else disappears, so she has to bring this person back from where they went, but they don't know where he went. But also there's like all this conspiracy that links back to the murder about the societies using power for not good reasons. It's really hard to explain. I would recommend it if you like a little murder mystery with some magical elements. And yeah, it's good. I gave it 4 because it personally took me a very long time to get through it. So I started the next book. Also another Lee Bardugo, just because we're here. I finally finished Crooked Kingdom. Yes, that part of the ending was really unexpected. I read some of the reviews that explained why it happened, which makes sense. But I was like, oh, why can't we just, you know, if you read it, you get it. If you read it, you get it. I would definitely recommend this series to everyone, though. Like, this is a 5-star series, a 6 of Crows duology. I love a duology. 1 and 2 and you're done. I love that. It's perfect. But I think there's another one coming. I don't know when, but there is a Goodreads that says like 6 of Crows 3. So maybe there's another thing coming. That would be really good. I think I gave this 5. 4 or 5. I like it. It again took me a long time to read it because I was not like feeling it as much as I did with the last one. But honestly, it kept me at the edge of my seat with like some of the scenes. I was like, oh my god, what's gonna happen? And I was like turning the page. And some of the scenes I wasn't doing it as much, but I feel like the plot was a little bit less interesting than the first book. But again, it wrapped up beautifully. It ended really well. I think, you know, I didn't notice any like plot holes. I'm not very good at that, to be honest. But I would say it's really good. So Lee Bardugo doesn't disappoint me, really. One of my favorite writers. I read this towards the end, so I read this in December. This is called My Sister the Serial Killer by Oyinkan Braithwaite, I think I say it. And this is a short book, but it is entertaining. I gave it a 4-star. I didn't really like the ending, that's why I gave it a 4-star. I know, I shouldn't do that. I think it gripped me more than I thought it would. It was very funny. Like, there was a lot of like subtle like dark jokes, and I really like that. I didn't understand why it ended the way it did, or like I could have, like there could have been a different one, but honestly it makes sense. Do you know what I mean? Like, it made sense for what it is. But some of the reviews were saying like it didn't focus much on the SK, like the plot. Like, the plot really didn't revolve around that at all. And I also thought like the main character was judging her sister for killing these men, even though the men were so trash. Like, it's not you should never do this for a man, you know. I was like, oh my god. But at the end, I think it kind of like, she kind of understood. I hope. She was like, oh, these poor men, even though they were like not very good. Okay. Next, I have, yeah, I think I gave that a 4. Next, I have On Women by Susan Sontag. This is an collection of essays by Susan Sontag, and it basically talks about feminism. I think it would be like second wave feminism. A lot of the discussions on here do apply. Now it's a good, like, it's a good read if you want to find out more about feminism and just cultural commentary. I really agree with a lot of the things in this. I underlined a lot of the parts. Like, I cannot explain to you what this book is about feminism. It's just talking about women, and the place of women in society, and yeah, it's going into that. The last part of this collection of essays is an interview, which I didn't really like enjoy that much, but otherwise it was good. I would recommend it if you want to find out more about this. I like it. The next one is Fahrenheit 451 by Ray Bradbury. I think a lot of people were reading it last year. I don't know. It applies culturally, I would say. I think they teach this in schools as well. So I would definitely recommend you reading it. It's a classic for a reason. What did I think? Like, always the retro futuristic vibe. Yeah, good commentary on, like, I think it was censorship and like the way that people are like oppressing thought. A lot of themes in this book you can see in modern day things, unfortunately. The next one I gave 5 stars, so these are like my 5-star books. This is Prisoner's Throne by Holly Black. This is the last book in the whole of like the Fog of the Air series. I don't know if anything else is coming out, but I would read it. I would eat it up. So I read all of the like previous ones, and then I waited for this to come out in paperback, so I finished my collection in paperback. I read all of the other books that are like displayed here besides the one about King of Elfame. I'm really not interested in that. It's like a picture book kind of thing. I think this is Oak's point of view, isn't it? I think I really liked the first one better, which was The Stolen Heir. This is like the offshoot of the main series, which follows like one of the princes, and one of the princes, I mean, it's like the prince, but it's really good. I don't remember all the things that happened, honestly, at this point, but I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed the whole series. I think it's a really good time. I would recommend it if you like fantasy, and a quick read. I finally read Normal People by Sally Rooney. This is about Connell and Marianne, who freaking will they one day relationship their way through life. The miscommunication. This book was so painful. But like, it's realistic, relatable. Like, I just want them to be together. You know what I mean? The whole time I was like, why this thing about like, can you ever really choose family? Can you really replace those who've never shown up for you, or those or who you've lost? Because there was kind of like a found family kind of vibe at the end. Like, we met each other long before we did that. There's a version of us out there already, existing in the future, waiting for us to catch up. About this guy that he meets, and it's just, I love it. There's a little bit of like love in here, kind of, and I was just like rooting for it so bad. And I loved it because it's not the main point of the story, it just comes along like unexpectedly. So that's my real confession, he says, the source of my pain. Not that I'm the forgotten author of a great love story, or that I ended up as a footnote in history, but that by continuing to put myself in someone else's narrative, I was never brave enough to find out who I really was. Stop. And that is relatable, isn't it? Relatable, like, about finding yourself. I don't know, I feel like there is a couple of really good key messages in there that you could read at a different point in your life and you would pick up on and you would appreciate. That kind of book. That's probably one of my favorite books this year. So, and then the last one is Everything is Tuberculosis by John Green. Wonderful little explanation, digestible explanation of what tuberculosis is, you know, how it affects people and how it's killing people, even though we have a cure for it, and unpacking the divide between the rich and the poor, and how this is a poor person's disease, underprivileged people's disease, because we just can't seem to help people because people are greedy. Like the companies that provide this medicine are greedy, and it's just a lovely, it's not like lovely, but the writing is really good. He's really good at explaining complicated concepts in a simple way, and raising awareness for this is very important. I think you can go to John and Hank Green's shop. They have like a shop that supports charity, and they support a lot of different charitable causes, as well as like helping open a hospital in Sierra Leone, which is fantastic. And these are the kinds of people that I want to support and give my money to. Not just, you know, it's amazing what they're doing. And I love their YouTube videos. If you don't watch them, they're entertaining and you find out new things as well. But yeah, definitely would recommend this to everyone if you want to understand tuberculosis and how it affected us throughout history, but also it follows a boy's journey as well, of John Green's friend, and his personal journey, which is interwoven throughout the book. But yeah, the history and persistence of our deadliest infection. Everything is tuberculosis. I'd say one of the best books of 2025. Here we are at the end of this video. I hope you picked up recommendation. If you haven't read some of these, maybe you'll read it, especially the ones I featured towards the end. And if you have any for me, do feel free to leave them in the comments, and I'll get watch them or add them to my list, and we'll see what happens. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this. I know it wasn't as I didn't read as much as last year. It's just like so easy for me to put on a TV show and be stuck in that scrolling cycle. But 2026 hopefully will be out there living life and